that Radio-Canada is not able to respect his legal mandate, as it is for the French community in all Canada. We see this country as a place for us when we speak French, even if we are in Vancouver or in Edmonton. And we should have a government and politicians from the federal parliament who think that the French factor is important for the country.
A funny press release the other day by two provincial politicians. Let me get their names just right. Jean-Marc Fournier, the Quebec minister in charge of the francophonie, that's French-speaking people, and Madeleine Meilleur, who has the same position in Ontario's provincial government, released a report demanding more money for the CBC, which is sort of funny because that's a federal jurisdiction and they are provincial politicians. I've got 5 quick thoughts on this. Tell me what you think. The first is, it's obviously just an attempt to ingratiate themselves with the CBC, an easy way to suck up to reporters. And of course, the CBC complied, immediately boasting about their 2 new friends and surely tilting just a little bit more favorable their coverage for the time being. The second obvious point is that this is a partisan attack on Stephen Harper. The 2 provincial politicians are Liberals. Stephen Harper is a Conservative. He is obviously the enemy here. This is a boring story of dog bites man. It's not man bites dog when Liberals attack a Conservative, but of course the CBC loved it and made it news. The third point is that politicians are used to spending other people's money. They never dip into their own pockets. But what happens when you run out of other people's money in Quebec and Ontario because your taxes are already at the limit, your deficit is already very high? Well, then you look for other people's money. You ask Stephen Harper to get money from Alberta, BC, Saskatchewan to prop up your CBC French. That's what's going on here. Now, the final point is if these provincial politicians in Quebec and Ontario really meant it, they could just cut a check themselves. In fact, Ontario has gone much further. They have their own provincial TV station called TVO, and there's a French version too. So they already have a provincial state broadcaster in Ontario, and we saw how that worked out. Just last week there was news that there was a documentary done by TVO on Kathleen Wynne and the Liberals, but the Liberal partisans vetoed its release because it would portray them in an unflattering light. Yeah, when politicians want control of or more government money to media, that's what you can expect. For TheRebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.